So in this session, we'll talk about Spark streaming, which is an increasingly common use case for Spark in dealing with stream data nowadays. So to this point in this course, we have talked about analyzing offline data sets in batch manner. So we have the pile of data and we can, or we want to analyze it or process it somehow. But in real world, data never stops coming in, right? So this is where Spark streamings come in, and it allows you to ingest streams of data in real time. Okay, and this is really a very common use case of Spark these days, where we are dealing with streaming sources of data and not just transforming a bunch of data all at once in batch process, but continually monitoring incoming data and doing something to it in real time as it is received. A common example of that would be processing log data coming in from a website or a server, or maybe a whole fleet of servers that power a website, and that is coming to your Spark cluster, and you can actually take that into account through Spark streaming. And so the main point here is that the data never stops coming in, right? So there is no really simple set of log files that you can point to and say, hey, go and analyze this chunk of log data. Okay, so it is always coming in, and there is always new information being gathered all the time, and maybe you want to aggregate and analyze that at some given interval or window of information, right? Or maybe you want to set up some sort of an alarm when if you are seeing some bunch of errors on your website, or something extraordinary, and you want to get notified of this kind of events at the right moment as they are happening, right? So instead of just waiting for the nightly analysis of the data, we are analyzing the data continually as it comes in and doing something with it. Okay, so that data does not have to come from a raw file also all the time. It can come from some port that is receiving TCP data. It can come from Amazon's Kinesis services. It can come from an HDFS or some distributed file system. It can come from Kafka, Flume, all sort of data sources too. So Spark streaming can integrate with a bunch of different systems, not just text files, and analyze that data as it's coming in. And it might not just be about analyzing and aggregating data also. So it might be about transforming it and just sending it to somewhere else. And also you want to, let's say, store that structured data after transformation into some database somewhere else. Okay, so that is perfectly a valid use case of Spark streaming as well. And the nice thing about Spark streaming is that it has checkpointing feature, and checkpointing feature is some feature that will allow you to actually, if the stream goes down, if your cluster goes down for some reason, and it has a easy way to actually automatically pick up from where it left automatically. Okay, so that is a nice feature too. We'll see how to create checkpointings. So it all started uh, from DStream API. So that was kind of the historically, this is the base API for the Spark streaming, DStream API. Basically, Spark streaming has this kind of history where it started with RDD and moved towards dataset. Okay, structured streaming that we'll talk about next. So originally the interface was DStream, or discretized streams, and it was based on old RDD interfaces, as you can see in this slide. And because it was based on RDDs, it was centered around what we call micro batches. Okay, so as you can see here, the DStream essentially is containing several small RDDs, and those are essentially the micro batches, what we are calling them. And so the data which are coming in, they will be processed into little chunks altogether. So technically speaking, this is not truly streaming. It was not actually operating on data on a field or row by row basis. Okay, so it is just some you just create some chunks of data which we call micro batches, and you actually process them as RDD. So you just process the stream data which are coming in, uh, we will discretize them into several RDDs, and then actually create those micro batches, and then you process them into a window. Okay, so that was kind of the earlier approach for these streams that we will see inside this course, how to actually do that, and several structured APIs came after that, which essentially um, depends on the data set or data frames. Okay, so those are modern APIs that we'll see also, but it started with these streams as we have seen here. Okay, but of course here, if you can bear with some seconds, it can actually give you real-time analysis of these micro batches, and that can be fed as the stream data analysis. Okay, so that also we will see in this course. So there are some gotchas here, because as you remember that your RDDs are not are only going to contain one little chunk of incoming data. Now what you can do is windowed operation. So with the windowed operation, you can combine results from multiple batches over some sliding time window automatically. So there are functions like window, or reduce by window, or reduce by key and window. So those window functions allow you to do a reduction over some time, going back in the past. Okay. So I could say go back to the past minute, or go back for the past hour, or go back for the past day, whatever it is, and reduce my information down based on that window of information. Okay, so that window does not need to be corresponding to your batch size, because at that window that batch size will be actually depend on the streams coming in. Okay, so that can be much larger, and it will automatically keep track of those RDD results. So those micro batches, and apply your you can apply your operation over the window of time that you have already defined to actually do the analysis. So it automatically keeps that information around you, so you can analyze as you go. Also, something or to mention about the update state by key. Okay, this allows you to maintain a state that spans across many batches as the time goes on. Okay, so if you need to keep track of some running state as you process this information across windows, okay, and or across batches also, you can do that by using update state by key. So a good example of that could be running some sort of a count, or an ongoing count of some event over time since you started the script. Okay, so if you need to keep track of something as the script runs as a whole, as opposed to over some window of time, update state by key lets you do that. Okay, so with that, we'll just give uh, we will take a look into some example to actually get those uh, clutter cleared through example. Okay, so here the first example will run a Spark streaming script that just monitors live tweets from Twitter, and we'll keep track of those most popular hashtags as we receive the new tweets over the sliding window. Okay, so we for this we need to create a developer account in Twitter, and need to create an API to get this API key and access token that we have already talked about. And this will allow us to stream Twitter data in real time. Okay, we'll see in the next example. Okay, so let's dive into the example, and let's see what is happening inside that.